A Commanders insider thinks that a returning starter won't even make the Week 1 roster. The team's plans for next season revealed, and Jerry Jones says the quiet part out loud. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. We got a big show lined up today. It was a boring day, quote unquote, yesterday. The boys were off of practice. They will be back later today. So as always, you can expect a second upload today with updates from what happens out on the practice field. But today we got big news. The Commanders are planning their jerseys for next season. We are going to go over the time schedule for all of that. Jerry Jones said that the Dallas Cowboys are a soap opera. What compelled him to say such things, and why is he so right? And a bold prediction from Ben Standig, formerly of The Athletic, saying that Brian Robinson Jr. won't be on the roster when the Week 1 opener against the Giants takes place in Landover. We are going to jump into all of that, guys. But before we do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button on this video. That is the easiest way for you to support the content and to support me. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. 93% of people who watched my last video are not subscribed. So let's make that 92%. I'm nothing if not modest, if not humble. 92%, that's the goal. Okay, so let's jump in here. So the Commanders next season, they already got the jerseys planned out. You're going to get the burgundy top with the gold bottom in Week 2 against the Packers, Week 3 against the Raiders, Week 7 against the Cowboys, Week 10 against the Cowboys, and Week 16 against the Eagles. You're going to get the white top with the burgundy bottom. Here we go. Week 1 against the Giants, Week 4 against the Falcons, Week 5 against the Chargers, Week 8 against the Chiefs, Week 11 against the Dolphins, Week 14 against the Vikings, Week 15 against the Giants, and Week 18 against the Eagles. Big one here. You're going to get the Super Bowl throwbacks. These guys right here. You're going to get those in Week 9 against the Seahawks. That will be their debut, or the debut of their return. Week 13 against the Broncos, who, again, this is who good old Johnny there is running over. That's the Broncos right there. And then Week 17 against the Cowboys. And finally, you will get the all-black jerseys in Week 6 against the Chicago Bears, just like last year. The famous Hail Mary and the all-blacks. This is the only time those jerseys are coming back. I feel like those should be reserved exclusively for Monday night games. That's just me personally. Is that the Commanders' only Monday night game this season? Let me check that real quick, because I don't mind if there's another Monday night and they're not breaking them out. I feel like it is a missed opportunity. So, yep, Monday against Chicago. 2 weeks later, it's a Monday night game against the Chiefs, and those are their 2 Monday night games. And who did I say, or what did I say the jerseys against the Chiefs were? They're the white top, burgundy bottoms on the road. So the road whites, not even the home whites. I mean, I guess it would have been weird to wear the All Blacks 2 out of 3 weeks, but I don't know. I feel like those are Monday night. I feel like those are entrenched in Monday night Commanders lore after that Hail Mary. Okay. But yeah, that's going to do it for the jerseys there. Let's go ahead. Let's move on over and let's talk about Jerry Jones, because I know this is a Commanders channel, but I'm going to give you guys pertinent updates throughout the NFC East. And when Jerry Jones is giving us content gold like this, I don't know how you expect me not to bring it up. So here's a direct quote from Jerry Jones. He says, quote, "If we're not being looked at, then I'll do my part to get us looked at." How poetic. Man of great words. The NFL is a 365-day-a-year interest factory. A lot of programming, you have to spend as much to promote it as you do to make it. The Cowboys are a soap opera 365 days a year. When it gets low, I'll stir it up. That's controversy. That controversy is good stuff in terms of keeping and having people's attention. Jerry Jones, there is no doubt that you did a great job for yourself with the Cowboys. You said that one of your greatest achievements is getting to work with your family. I don't doubt that. I think everybody would love that opportunity. You're going to make a $10 to $12 billion profit on this franchise. You've got all the money out the wazoo. You're living lavish beyond your wildest dreams. You've been nothing but successful from that point. The Cowboys were looked at as the gold standard in the NFL. They weren't America's team because they were popular, because they were discussed on ESPN every day. It was because they were winning Super Bowls. They were a dominant team. You now have the longest championship-less game appearance streak in the entire conference, in the entire NFL. So when you say the Cowboys are a soap opera, it's not in the good way. It's not in the sense that people keep tuning in every week because they're hooked and they want more. It's because they are literally a soap opera. I was reading an article yesterday from, I think was it Barnwell? It might have been Barnwell. That the Cowboys, between the Dak Prescott, the CeeDee Lamb, and now the Micah Parsons contracts, the way they have handled them has cost them a minimum of $84 million. From the way that they've structured them to the way that they've kicked the contracts down the road, minimum of $84 million. And I'll be honest, Dak is a company man. CeeDee, not a company man, but not willing to bring drama to the light necessarily, not outwardly projecting it. Micah Parsons, there's a very good chance this relationship is totally severed. And I don't think that you're going to be able to buy him back with money. I mean, money always helps, but if he can get a similar offer, even a slightly lesser offer from another team on the open market, there's no doubt in my mind he would choose that over the Cowboys. Because to him, loyalty and the way that he is treated is more important. So yes, Jerry, you're right. It's a soap opera. People are coming back, but you're running your franchise into the ground. And let me be honest here, as a Commanders fan, I love it. But the total lack of self-awareness from this man is just, it's outstanding. It's mind-blowing, but it's also outstanding. He has truly excelled, and he's excelled in being totally unrealistic and just unapproachable. I don't know how you have a conversation with this guy, because on one hand, he's so aware of the theater that is the Cowboys, but he doesn't realize it's playing to their detriment. But I say all this to say that, look, Deron Bland wants a new contract. Michael Parsons wants a new contract. I honestly don't know how good this team's going to be with Dak coming off a major injury and not having the best player in Micah and a first-year head coach. This team could be terrible. And I know some Cowboys fans, I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I'm not in position to say this, but I personally know a Cowboys fan who has said that he can't wait for Jerry Jones's time to come because they are doomed for as long as he's around. And Jerry's 81, 82 years old. I don't know how many more years he will be in charge, but like, man, these sorts of decisions, if this is the mentality of the front office, no wonder it took a year and a half for the Commanders to make this total 180 with Josh Harris, a guy who was doing everything right by all accounts. And then you've got the polar opposite on the other side. I almost want to feel bad for Cowboys fans, but at the same time, I don't, because they've been insufferable for so long. But it's funny to laugh at them. Jerry, you're right. It's a soap opera. If that's what you want, by all means, continue with that. The Commanders hosted 4 DBs for a workout on Wednesday. Wanted to bring this up. Even though the team wasn't practicing, we saw that they had workouts on either Sunday or Monday. I think it might have been Sunday. And then was Hampton released Monday, and they signed Duke Riley on Monday? I feel like that's the timeline. But some DB workouts here. Quantrez Knight from UCLA, Trey Rucker from Oklahoma State, Jason Taylor also from Oklahoma State, and Daryl Worley from West Virginia. Now, let me pull up the Commanders depth chart here just so we know who is in competition to make the roster. We're pretty confident about the top 5 for corners. Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, Mike Sainristil, Noah Igbenogany, and Jonathan Jones. Those guys feel like they're sort of written in stone. Like there's no chance they miss the team. Bobby Price, Carlin Vigors, Kevon Seymour, they are in competition to make the 53-man roster. And then the safety group. There's a quote from Dan Quinn who was talking about he was impressed with the depth of the safeties, not just their ability to play on defense, but also special teams, which is something that I pointed out when I put out my first 53-man roster prediction. But so the safeties we assume are going to be safe are Will Harris, Quan Martin, Jeremy Reeves, Percy Butler, and Tyler Owens. And then you've got Ben Nickel and Robert McDaniel also competing for the roster there. Now, to my knowledge, I haven't seen any reporting that the Commanders did sign any of those guys that they worked out, but it is an indication that they're at least looking to bring competition into that defensive back room, which it is a little, I don't want to call it questionable because I don't have a reason to doubt this team and this front office, but I'm almost wondering why. Again, it feels like you've got 10 guys who are cemented real quick. Lattimore, Amos, Sainristil, Igbenogany, Jones, Harris, Martin, Butler, Reeves, and Owens. Like, that's 10 guys who are basically no doubters to make the team. Carlin Vigors has been given opportunities. Kevon Seymour and Bobby Price, they seem to like. Ben Nickel could be a good special teams player. Robert McDaniels, this versatile UDFA who's got an intriguing athletic profile. He lined up at safety. He lined up at defensive end. He lined up at corner. He lined up at linebacker while he was at Jackson State last year. So I almost wonder why, like, what do they see in this group that we don't? And keep in mind, again, I'm not questioning them because they're there at practice every day. They're reviewing the footage and the film every day. They know this roster better than anybody else. It's always funny to me when fans, casual fans really will say, oh, the coach doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, well, you might disagree with it, but he is a professional coach and he does know better than anyone else his roster. Now, his conclusions based on his observations might be incorrect, but I have no doubt he knows the ins and outs better of the roster than this casual fan does. So I'm not saying that my decision-making is above Dan Quinn or Adam Peters or anything like that, but I do think it's relevant because I also believe in messages that people tell you without actually, I believe in messages and actions. So if someone isn't fully telling it to you, you can still take it away. When the Commanders had that workout over the weekend, they brought in 13 guys. 7 of them were linebackers. It's like, I think they want to sign a linebacker. And lo and behold, Dominique Hampton's out the door. And my man, Duke Riley, comes in the door. So just something to keep an eye on there. Our final topic today, I wanted to talk about the big one. And I like saving the biggest piece of news for the end sometimes. Just give it a little switch up. Also, boost my viewer retention. Shout out to the YouTube algorithms. Ben Standig, formerly of The Athletic, now of the Team 980. He also has a Substack. And he predicted on there that Brian Robinson Jr. will not be on the team in week 1. He was talking with Nikki Jabvala, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, who ironically is now of The Athletic. And they were going over I forget what they call it, but it's a concept where basically it's like buy or sell, which is more likely. And the question that was posed was, which is more likely? The week 1 roster includes the running back room of Brian Robinson, Jeremy McNichols, Austin Eckler, and Bill, or Bill, Eckler, McNichols, and Chris Rodriguez. And Nikki said it was the first. She expects Robinson to be on the team, whatever. And then Standig comes on and he says, quote, I'm going to guess Brian Robinson is not on the week 1 roster. I have no insight into that, but if Krosky Merritt's on this team, I just don't know how you're sitting him. He also said that this does not necessarily mean he'd be cut and could mean that he also gets traded. The Commanders traded Jahan Dotson in the preseason last year, so there is a precedent of them making late moves. But he mentioned the likes of Casimir Allen and Demetric Felton. He also said that he had Kaz Allen making the 53-man roster as of his last update, which there's some validity to. There's been a lot of positive comments about Kaz Allen from DQ and Kingsbury and some other guys. It seems like he's one of those players who they see the potential, but he's making a lot of mistakes or he's not quite there. He hasn't stepped into it yet. So it's very possible that this becomes a practice squad guy and they try it again next year. Matter of fact, how old is Casimir Allen? How old is this guy? He's 25 years old. So, yeah, it's definitely still a young player that you're hoping you can mold and maybe bring him back next year. But there is competition for the running back room. Like Chris Rodriguez is still a good player. At times when he got to play last year, as far as just running the ball, he's not a great receiving back and pass protection could be a little off. But as far as actually just running the ball, when he got to play last year, he did look at least the same, if not a little bit better than Brian Robinson Jr. What's interesting about all this is Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is the only running back on the team who's under contract for more than 1 year under contract after this season. Eckler's deal is up. B-Rob's deal is up. McNichols' deal is up. Obviously, they just drafted Krosky Merritt, so he's still under contract. Now, I was looking into the numbers on this, and B-Rob's not making a ton of money. He's got a $3.6 million cap hit this year. He's an undrafted free agent next year. But when I think about how analytics-driven the Commanders' decision makers have been since they came into power here, the running back room is not a valuable position from an analytics standpoint. Now, there's been a revival recently, like Saquon and Derrick Henry have helped drive that. And Josh Jacobs, his final year with the Raiders, had a terrific year. And James Cook had like 18 total touchdowns last year. So there has been a revival, but still, if you are ordering the positions of importance and you're scaling that to their contracts, you got cornerback, you got edge rusher, cornerback, receiver, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. You go through some positions before you finally find yourself at running back. So why is all this relevant? Well, I was looking at the 2026 running back free agents and then the draft prospects. And let me just read these out to you, and then I'll return to my main point here. So free agent running backs in 2026, this is according to their estimated market value, which basically means who's the best. Kenneth Walker, B-Rob was number 2, Travis Etienne, Jaylen Warren, Breece Hall, Kareem Hunt, Khalil Herbert, and it goes down from there. Like you get to the Alexander Madisons of the world. And was it Alex Madison who broke his neck recently? There was someone who just broke their neck and they're out for the season. Prayers. If that's not Alex Madison, I'm sorry. If it is, then again, prayers. So those are the free agents next year. You look at the draft prospects. You've got Jeremiah Love, Mekhi Hughes, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Jaden Ott, Jonah Coleman, Justice Haynes, CJ Baxter, Le'Veon Moss, Jamal Haynes, Quintravion Wisner, and Quentin Joyner. All players who have a lot of potential to step into the NFL and at least be starters, if not like split back sort of guys. And when you consider the difference in valuation, like Kenneth Walker's probably going to want about $10 million a year, and he's had a lot of injury concerns. B-Rob is the second most valuable guy. We know exactly what B-Rob is. Travis Etienne, I think B-Rob is better than him. Jaylen Warren, I think B-Rob is better than him. Breece Hall, maybe an argument to be had there. Kareem Hunt, I wouldn't really want him on my team unless he's a backup. Same with Khalil Herbert. If you draft a player in the 3rd round, you can pay them $1.5 million per year. And if we're looking back at some of these options from the rookie class, that could be you could get a CJ Baxter, a Le'Veon Moss, a Quintravion Wisner. You could get them in the 3rd round or later. And if Bill is your top guy, like if he has a great rookie year, then maybe you just go sign Khalil Herbert for $1 million a year, however much he wants, but a very small contract. Or you can go to the draft and save yourself a lot of money. It's boring because it takes some of the emotion out of football, but football is still largely a math game. That's what professional sports are. So I'm on SpotRack looking at some contract estimations here, not actually estimations at all, what the players drafted in this spot are making on their rookie deals this year. And if you go to the 80th pick in the draft, which would be right around the middle of the 3rd round, that player is going to get $6.4 million spread over 4 years. That's this year. It'll go up slightly next year as the salary cap goes up, you would assume. But that player makes $1.1 million in their first year. Then it goes to 1.5, 1.8, and then 2. Those are the types of contracts you're getting for maybe whatever player you draft in that 3rd round, that 80th pick overall spot could be equal production, if not better production than Brian Robinson or Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne for half the price, a third of the price, a quarter of the price, even less than that. So sticking with the analytical model and the nature of these 1-year contracts / not extending players for the long term if they aren't clearly a part of the long-term vision, it does make me believe that B-Rob, this will be his last year. Now, whether or not he's on the roster in week 1, I think that's a totally different conversation. And I don't see why you would cut him. I think he definitely still has trade value because he's only 25-ish years old. But this Ben Standig, it's a guy who's not really out there making clickbait. He's not looking for headlines. He's just doing his best work. So something to keep an eye on, certainly. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. As I mentioned, I will be back later today with an update from practice. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,500. Would love to get there before the preseason game against the Bengals. So if you want to support me, please do that. Also hit the like button. It's the easiest way to help me grow the channel. Go to the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on everything I said. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.